There are three incredibly powerful techniques or methods that you can use to stop negative thoughts dead in their tracks. I use these methods anytime I find myself having a negative thought or going down a negative thought train. As you get better at controlling and regulating your emotions and keeping your emotional frequency higher, in those higher levels: peace, happiness, joy, bliss, gratitude, neutrality. Again, you can go and check out my video on how to materialize or manifest your desired reality or a preferred reality. Especially if you suck at visualization, you can check out that video. It was my second or third video where we talk about the various emotions that we experience as people and how they impact us based on their vibrational frequency. And so you can check that out for a more in-depth explanation of that. However, assuming that you are already well aware of the power of your emotions, understanding that emotions are energy in motion, and your emotions, how you feel, that is your thermometer. That is your indicator of what energetic state you're in. And how you feel, well, that is a reflection of what you literally are, the state you're in, and it will tell you what seeds you're sowing. Your emotions are the reflection of your energy. So if you want to know how you're more than likely going to feel tomorrow, take a look at how you're feeling right now. If you want to know what kind of experiences that you will more than likely be experiencing in the near, mid, and distant future, just take a look at how you're feeling right now or most of the time. There isn't any one moment that will determine or dictate tomorrow's outcome or what kind of reality you're going to manifest or bring into your experience. Of course, it is all about momentum. It's all about inertia. It's all about compounding. A brief moment of feeling grateful is not going to yield many experiences where you will feel grateful in the future. A brief moment of excitement, of joy, of happiness, but also is true for negativity. A brief moment of fear, anxiety, sadness. This does not mean you're going to now manifest an entire reality of that. What matters is how you feel most of the time. Now, the reason why most people have a negative experience of reality is because most people live in a state of negativity. The grand majority of the time, their emotions are negative. They have feelings of desire, aka lack. They're angry, they're sad, they're guilty, they're ashamed. They feel less than. People are depressed more than ever. People are anxious more than ever. Most people reside in a state of negativity, and that's why their experience of life is mostly negative. The opposite, of course, is true. If you can get to a place where you are mostly at peace, if you're mostly positive, happy, and grateful, well, that will be what you experience most of the time. Now, why is this? Why is it incredibly important for you to understand how to stop negative thoughts dead in their tracks? Well, as we just spoke upon, your experience of reality is determined by the energetic state that you are occupying. So, if you are in a negative emotional state, which of course is brought on by negative thoughts, well, then your experience of reality will be negative. Why is that? This is because there is no separation between you and what you perceive as the external. Everything that you see, everything you interact with, everything you experience is a part of you. Think of it like this. When you purchase a video game, the video game doesn't only consist of the character that you're playing. The video game is the character that you're playing as well as the world around the character. It's the entire thing. You need to understand that all of this is you, literally. All of it, your external and your internal, all of it is you. And so If you are seeing a chaotic external, then that is a reflection of a chaotic internal. The vice versa is true. You cannot maintain an internal state of peace consistently and continue to experience a chaotic external. There is no separation between the two. The two are one. You are everything. Now, here's a fun little mental exercise you can do to realize this. The way that you experience life is determined by the way you see yourself, but the way you see yourself is just as equally determined by the thoughts you have about yourself, but as well as the thoughts you have about the world around you. Let me make it simple. Let's say you consider yourself a loser. Well, if everybody else on the planet were to disappear right now, never to return, are you still a loser? No. You're defining yourself as a loser based on you comparing yourself to other people. Meaning, you might see yourself as objectively something, but it's not objective because in all reality, it is being based upon the external. The external is being taken into account. The way you see yourself, the way you define yourself is just as much defined by the external as it is by the internal. This is because there is no separation between the external and the internal. All of it is one. The sooner you grasp that, the easier life will become, and the easier it will become for you to manipulate reality and manifest a more positive reality. So, with that said, let's get into the 3 techniques, methods, very powerful, that I use in order to eliminate or stop negative thoughts dead in their tracks. Now, time to confess, that is I'm putting a little bit of sauce on that, because not all negative thoughts, not all negative trains are easily stopped dead in their tracks. Some are smaller negative thoughts, but if you have a lot of momentum behind some negativity or some negative thoughts, something you've been fixating on for a very long time, it might take some time for it to completely stop or disappear or no longer be at the forefront of your mind and eventually out of the subconscious portion of your mind. It might take some time. However, you will start to see progress immediately. So I want to put that little asterisk on there. Depending on the level or weight of the negativity and the amount of negative emotions that you have charged these thoughts with, it might take some time. Makes sense, right? It takes more effort and time or energy, takes more work to stop a speeding train than it does to stop a little, toy train that's rolling into your direction. So what is technique number 1? And I have a little list here on my phone just to make sure I didn't lose track. And it's in order. Okay, so firstly, this is the most pivotal one. You have to actually do this regardless of whether or not you employ the other 2 techniques. And these 3 techniques, you can use them together. In fact, I oftentimes use them together. But the very first method that is foundational, this cannot be skipped. If you skip this, basically the other 2 methods are useless or you're going to be handicapping them significantly. Stop actively engaging in the source of the negativity. Stop actively engaging in or with the source of the negativity. What you resist persists. What you focus on will grow. Let's talk about those 2 statements. What you resist persists. This is just a fundamental law of the universe, and you can see it play out in so many ways. You can see it play out in the physical world, right? In physical phenomena. You can see it play out in immaterial things such as interactions or relationships you have with people. So let me give you an example. What you resist persists. Let's say you are being bullied. Let's say someone is teasing you for something, your nose. Let's say you have a big nose and someone is teasing you for having a big nose. What happens if you tell everyone to stop making fun of your nose? They're just going to make fun of your nose more. Okay. Let's say a girl isn't talking to you, and it's a girl who you're interested in, and she is leaving you on red, taking very long to reply. What do you think happens if you bring that up to her and you say, hey, why are you taking so long to reply? It makes me feel like you're not very interested in me. What's going on? What do you think happens after that? She's gonna stop replying. She's going to take even longer to reply in the future. Maybe she might immediately reply more quickly, but more than likely she won't even do that, right? She just won't reply. She'll ghost you. She'll take long. In fact, more than likely, you'll just push her away even more and she'll tell you some shit like, oh, maybe we should just be friends, or I just feel like this is too much pressure. What you resist persists. When you try to fight something, I have children. When children are throwing a tantrum, guess what happens if you yell at them and demand that they stop throwing a tantrum? The tantrum lasts longer. The tantrum gets louder. With dogs, I'm just giving you a bunch of examples. With dogs, if you have a dog that jumps on you, do you know how you break that habit? Well, one method that I've seen articulated by an expert dog trainer is they tell you to turn around. So if a dog jumps on your front, they tell you instantly to turn around, turn your back to the dog, right? And then the dog might come around to your front and try to jump again, and you turn around again. And then of course you couple that with positive reinforcement. When the dog doesn't jump on you, you give him a treat, etc., etc. But the point is, I'm sure you've seen it. People who own dogs, whose dogs keep jumping on people, they've told that dog to stop jumping on people 1,000,000 times. It doesn't do anything. They maybe even hit the dog, scolded the dog, put the dog in a crate. When that behavior occurs, it does not stop the behavior. A lot of times it makes the behavior worse. We can keep going on and on and on. Whenever you forcing something, trying to make something happen, that will almost always yield the opposite result. How many times do you see people get into drama on YouTube and them trying to explain themselves, them trying to apologize, apology videos? Those usually almost never work. They almost never, ever work. And why don't they work? Because usually apology videos do not come from a genuine place, and they are charged with an desperate energy. So a YouTuber has his pristine, clean online image. Everybody loves him or her. And then they fuck up. They make a mistake. They do something stupid or weird. And then they get called out for it. What happens a lot of times, and you usually see this, first they try to act all cool, like they don't care. I ain't gonna apologize. Academics recently did this when he did that weird shit with that kid that was Platboy Max's moderator. First, the energy was, oh, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what people say, da-da-da-da-da-da, which is all cap. Then they fold. They fold and they apologize. But what that shows you is that the apology isn't coming from a genuine place where the person reflected on what they did, identified the mistakes they made, and then expresses to the audience that they understand why people were upset now. They acknowledge that what they did was not the right decision, and then they commit to being better in the future. You do occasionally get genuine, authentic apologies like that from YouTubers, and usually the effect is good. Usually people are like, okay, thank you, we appreciate that. Everyone makes mistakes. let's all move on with our lives. Of course, you'll always have haters that just want to hate regardless of what you do. And so those people are there, but that's usually what happens when apologies are accepted. But what happens most of the time is that people are desperate. They're like, oh no, my fans are turning on me. I'm losing favorability with the public. People are not liking me. People are unfollowing me. People are unsubscribing. Oh no, what do I do? And then they get on the internet and they apologize, but their apology is coming from a place of desperation. They're trying to stop people from having a negative perception of them. They're trying to stop people from wanting to unsubscribe, unfollow, and usually that makes a situation worse. What you resist persists. There's even a term for this. It's called the Streisand effect, I believe. And essentially, it comes from this situation. I don't even remember her name. She was a famous actress, and her last name was Streisand. And somehow, the gossip tabloids found out where she lived. She had this massive mansion in a private location. Somehow it got out where she lived, and a magazine was published with a picture of the house just saying, oh, look at this huge mansion that this very famous person owns. Isn't this sick? Well, this Streisand woman, she became very frightened by this and didn't want people to know where she lived. She didn't want people to know what her house looked like. And so she put in all this effort trying to get these images taken off of the magazines and retracted. She got legal people, lawyers involved in all of that. The end result was everybody knew where she lived. Everyone was talking about it. Magazines that typically wouldn't even talk about that kind of thing, they're talking about it. And you've seen this happen time and time again on YouTube. I have a reaction channel, Young Don Reacts. And on that channel, how many times do we end up reacting to some drama that I only heard about because the person I'm making a video about is responding to somebody else's criticism of them, or responding to some isolated outrage on the internet. They respond, and then it becomes so much bigger. What you resist persists. And so, whatever is a source of negativity in your life, do not resist it. Do not try to use force to make it stop. So, what you focus on will grow. Well, again, that is the fundamental principle of manifestation. What you think about is what you are, and your experience of reality is what you are. The external and the internal, there is no separation. So if you are thinking about and emotionally charging thoughts that have to do with something that is negative, well, you are energizing it and making it a more concrete, deeply rooted fixture of your experience of reality. The more you focus on something, the more it will become a permanent and large fixture in your reality. Lastly, don't subtweet negativity. Treat it as if it doesn't exist or never happened. This is critical because you might not address it directly. You might say to yourself, you know, I'm not going to focus on this thing. But what you actually end up doing is subtweeting it. Now, what is subtweeting? It's lingo from Twitter. Essentially, it's when you tweet about a person or a situation, but you don't mention that person or situation directly. You'll see this all the time on Twitter. Man, I can't fuck with these lame ass niggas. Someone might tweet some shit like that. They don't say, who is lame ass niggas? We don't know. But that person knows. It's a subliminal message, a subliminal shot. Well, that works with Twitter, right? Saying that kind of thing. The audience, the people following you, they might not catch on to who or what exactly you're talking about. Doesn't work with the universe. You cannot hide anything from reality, because you can't hide anything from yourself. And reality is just you. Your experience of reality, the external world, it's just you. So you subliminally addressing the negativity is no different from the world's perspective, from reality's perspective, is no different than you talking about it or speaking on it directly. You might as well call names. You might as well say exactly what it is you're talking about if you do it subliminally in regards to the energetic impact it has on your reality. So don't think you can get away with complaining about whatever negativity is in your life because you're not addressing it directly. You have to let it go completely. You have to stop engaging with it completely. So what do I mean? What's an example of that? Let's say you have an issue with your boss at work, and your boss at work is a source of negative thoughts and emotions. Your experiences, your interactions with your boss at work is a source of negative emotions and thoughts. Subtweeting this situation might look like you talking to somebody who is completely unaware of the situation, maybe a stranger you sat beside on the park, and you just start opening up to them about your boss, thinking, oh, this person, it doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm complaining to my spouse or someone else at work. That is just as powerful as complaining at work about it. But also speaking to it vaguely. Someone calls you and asks you, oh, how was your day at work? One of your friends calls you and asks you how your day was, and you say, man, fuck niggas is gonna be fuck niggas, man. It is what it is. What are you talking about? Oh, nah, I don't want to get into it. I ain't really trying to focus on it. You are. Just by you saying fuck niggas is gonna be fuck niggas, talking about your fuck nigga boss, which you manifested, by the way. It's your fault that he's a fuck nigga in your reality. That's the sad truth about it. But let's just call him a fuck nigga for now, because that's what it feels like. Just because you didn't name him, it doesn't matter. You are addressing him. The universe, reality knows exactly what you're talking about. And so you are still charging that negativity with emotions and energy. You have to disengage completely. Act as if it didn't happen, or that, you know what I'm saying, you don't even know what. Treat it as if it doesn't exist or never happened is what I have written down there. And so that's essential, man. That's so important to the process of stopping the negative thoughts around that thing. You gotta let it go. And everybody understands this intuitively. Think about the kind of things we say to one another when we try to help a friend or a family member feel better about a situation. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about what that person said. Forget about it. Don't even think about it. Bro, fuck that nigga. All of that is us intuitively understanding that. Why do we say that? Because we want to help that person feel better. So all of us intuitively understand that in order to feel better, you got to stop thinking about that situation. So the faster you can disengage, the faster it will no longer be a part of your reality. Or the way that it's expressing itself in your reality can shift to match your new energetic frequency. So, step one, disengage completely. Let me give you some more examples of what that might look like for different situations. So first things first, I'll give you the perspective as a popular YouTuber. If somebody, let's say somebody makes a video about me, well, and let's say it's a source of negativity, emotional negativity. I don't like what they say because not all videos made about you are bad, but someone makes a real bad video criticizing you, trying to make you look or seem bad or whatever. Well, then you can't acknowledge it. The best course of action, do not engage with it. Don't acknowledge it. Don't comment on the videos. Don't create a burner account and start replying to niggas or start commenting under the video. Don't make a reaction video or a response video. But here's what I mean with the subtweeting shit. Don't even make a video that is perpendicular to that situation. So someone makes a video saying some shit like, you're a liar, right? Someone makes a video accusing you of lying about some shit that you didn't lie about. Don't make a video talking about this other person who got lied about. And then in that video, you were like, yeah, man, people just be lying on niggas and da-da-da, you know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. It's really are using that video as an excuse or a method to address the real negative situation that's pressing you on your mind. Be very careful doing shit like that. Let's say you got diagnosed with an illness, a terrible illness that is supposed to make you feel real bad. What does it look like to not engage, to disengage? Don't be watching videos after videos about people talking about their experience with the illness, spending all this time on WebMD, watching a bunch of videos that just encourage more negativity, more bad feelings, more fear, anxiety, sadness around the situation. Don't complain about it. Stop talking about it to other people. That's being sick. Another example could be, we already talked about if you're beefing with someone at work. Here is a real hard one though, a real sneaky one. When you have an issue with your significant other, your girlfriend, your spouse, right? So, of course, you guys bump heads, some offense was made against you from your perspective. Well, first things first, of course, is stop arguing, stop fighting. That's directly engaging with the negativity. Stop arguing, stop fighting. But you also don't complain to your friends about it. Also, don't do things like giving them the cold shoulder. Like, you know what I'm saying? You go and get food, and you normally, when you go get food, you shoot them a text or you call them, hey, you want anything? Nah, you're not doing that. Fuck it, they can feed themselves. You know what I'm saying? All of that, you're still feeding into the negativity. This is why you need to forgive. All this I'm saying is really, you could boil this down to forgive the source of the offense. That's really what this all boils down to, is forgiveness. But, you know what I'm saying? How do you forgive a diagnosis of terminal illness? It really is still forgiven, but I'm just trying to help you understand it from different perspectives. The wind is blowing, so that's why the camera's moving. So that's the first thing. You need to stop engaging with the source of the negativity in all forms. Okay, number 2, rest and relax. Rest and relax. So once you have decided to stop actively engaging with it, you're not checking comments, you're not arguing, You're not talking shit. You're not subtweeting or sending subliminals. You're not arguing with the person in your head. You're not doing little petty shit to spite the person or get back at the person. That's active, right? Engagement. You're not doing any of that shit. You're pretending as if it never happened. Forgiveness, forgetting about it. It doesn't even exist. It's not even going on. Now, just because you do that though, doesn't mean the thoughts are going to stop popping in your head, right? Because it's usually what happens is the thought pops in your head and that will then inspire you to actively engage in the negativity. But you said, I'm not going to actively engage in the negativity, doesn't mean thoughts aren't going to keep popping in your mind for a little bit. So what do you do then? It's still kind of making you feel bad. That's where you're going to use these next two techniques, which are more examples of you actively doing things now to quell the negative thoughts, to help them accelerate their exit out of your being. So rest and relax. This is so highly underrated, especially in our world that is so fixated on grind culture. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Go, 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 go. You always got to do something to fix things. No, rest and relax. Go and treat yourself to one of your favorite meals. This is a perfect opportunity to treat yourself to some junk food, you feel me? Or some shit you don't normally eat, but you really enjoy. Go get some food and go watch a good movie, man. Go relax, go hoop, go play, you know what I'm saying, some kind of game with your friends. Do something that relaxes you, things you enjoy. Watch a funny movie. If you're gonna watch a movie, don't watch any shit that's gonna stress you out or make you feel worse. It's like when niggas are sad and they go listen to sad music. No, you're just making yourself feel worse. So if you're having a fucking fucked up situation right now with your girl, don't go watching no movies about leaving your girl, nigga. Don't go watch any movies about a bitch cheating on a nigga, or, you know what I'm saying, women being fucked up to their significant others. This is not the time to watch that movie. You can watch it in the future when you're emotionally disengaged from this situation and that's not something bothering you. But if it's bothering you, now is not the fucking time to watch shit like that. Watch a funny show. Watch something entertaining. For me, Family Guy, bro. I watch Family Guy even when I'm not upset. I watch it just because it's so lighthearted and funny. And that's the kind of shit that makes you feel good. Laughter. Laughter is the best medicine, as they say. And so rest and relax. Go take a nap. Look, if you're in a fucked up negative space anyway, the decisions that you're going to be inspired to make aren't trustworthy anyway. They're usually bad. The things you'll do, the things you'll say, the decisions you'll make are oftentimes not trustworthy. Now, of course, some things are obvious, right? That's the beauty of creating routines and having good habits that you build when you're in a good mental place. And so even when you're in a bad mental place, you know, okay. It's like if you go to the gym every day and you're in a bad mood, you know what I'm saying? You know, going to the gym is a good idea still. It was a good idea when you were in a positive mental place. But you got to be very cautious of making new decisions or changes in your life. Decisions made in a negative space, you got to be very careful with those, especially when those decisions will yield new experiences or a new situation in your life. Like, don't come to the decision you're going to quit your job when you're mad at your boss. Don't make the decision that you're going to end a relationship when you're upset with your girl. You get what I'm saying? So rest and relax, man. That's huge. That's huge. Super underrated. Super underrated. Chill, bro. Chill. Take a day off. Take a day off. Relax. If you have the ability, call out of work. You know what I'm saying? If you're not someone who calls out of work a lot, you got PTO or some shit like that, take a me day, bro. Have a chill day, and the whole point of the day is to relax. And that will help a lot. How many times have you heard someone say, sleep on it? You know, something happens and you feel like it's a big deal, but then a few days pass, you didn't do anything about the situation. You just got an opportunity to sleep for a few nights. And now you're like, that shit ain't even a big deal, bro. That shit ain't even worth my energy, worth my time. So that's method number 2. And then method number 3, this is a little bit more active. We have meditation, deep breathing, and exercise. So those are 3 separate activities, but I kind of put them in the same category because it's something you're actively doing to combat the negative thought. See, rest and relaxing, you're not actively trying to stop the negative thought or stop the negative energy. It's just that by very nature of the activity, resting and relaxing, combined with you not actively engaging in the source of negativity, it has a calming effect, a restorative effect. But something you can actively do, let's say you're kind of charged up with this negative feeling, you have a little bit of anxiety, your heart is racing, you're mad, you can feel the actual negative emotion circulating through your body. Here are 3 things that are really good at helping to alleviate that. So thing number 1, meditation. Combine that, of course, with breath work. Now, it doesn't really matter what kind of meditation you do. There are plenty of different ways you can meditate. Tutorials online will show you different meditation techniques, different deep breathing techniques. Just look it up. Here's an incredibly simple one, and it's really the one that I use when I do meditate, which I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big meditator, guys. I don't meditate that much. The do nothing technique. It's my favorite form of meditation. You literally sit down and do nothing. There is nothing to do. You sit down, like if I was gonna meditate out here, I'd pull out a chair, I'll sit down and I'll just stare at the fence. That's it. I'm not trying to think about anything. I'm not trying to not think about anything. I'm not focusing on my breath. It's literally called the do nothing technique. You can look it up. It's a real form of meditation. The idea is you just sit there and you do nothing. But you have to literally do nothing. You can't sit there and be watching YouTube on your phone. That's not, you got to just do nothing, literally nothing. You sit and you just stare at the wall across from you, stare at the ground. Not saying you can't like look around, but try not, it's about being still. That's really what you're trying to achieve, is stillness. So there's meditation, there's deep breathing. That one works every time, man. Sometimes it works more than others, but it's a very effective way to calm down your central nervous system. Take a deep breath in, hold it. Breathe out. There are wasps flying around here. If you notice that I'm looking around a lot, it's because there are a lot of wasps out here right now. I need to go hunt down their nest and spray it with some wasp poison. And so, yeah, that's another really useful technique, deep breathing. Lastly is exercise, especially cardio. Now, going to the gym and lifting weights, that's good. But cardio, getting the heart rate up, getting the blood flowing, getting that circulation, breaking a sweat, I found is much more effective at dissipating that negative energy. My preferred form of cardio is using what is known as a rebounder. A rebounder is essentially a personal adult trampoline. I have a rebounder that I purchased on Amazon. It is incredibly low impact, meaning you can do it frequently, you can do it a lot, and it's not going to put a lot of strain on your joints like running or jumping rope does. If you jump rope for over, let's say you go out and you buy a jump rope and you start jumping rope, and let's say over the course of a day you do it for 30 minutes and you do that every day, by the third day you're going to be incredibly sore, and jumping that rope is going to feel painful. Same thing with running, and I don't like treadmills. And then of course you have to deal with the elements if you're going to run outside, run in the sun. And you know, what kind of neighborhood do you live in? Is it the kind of neighborhood you want to run around? For some people it might be, for some people it might not be. Personally, as someone who's been an athlete his entire life and has done essentially every form of exercise, I have found rebounding to be the best. The best form of cardio. It's fun. You can do it literally in your bedroom, and it's low impact, meaning you can do it a lot and you'll never feel sore or injured from it. Your body adapts to it very quickly. And so that's it. That's the third thing I would recommend. I use a combination of all three. Stop engaging, rest and relaxation, and exercising, deep breathing. Honestly, the first one is the most important. The other two things just speed it up, accelerate it. You do these three things together, I mean, it all depends on your spiritual maturity and how emotionally charged a negative thought is. But taking this approach, I would say between 24 to 36 hours of doing this in a disciplined fashion will guarantee that the negative thought will be, if not completely gone, reduced in an incredibly significant way. Big thing is, don't beat yourself up just because you identify you have a negative thought and you can't make it disappear right away. That's okay. The big thing is that you follow these techniques, and I guarantee you, you're going to see results. And the more you practice taking this approach to negativity and negative thoughts and emotions, the better you'll get at it. The less you'll even find yourself feeling these negative thoughts and emotions, or having these negative thoughts and feeling these negative emotions. And life is just going to get better. I hope that helps.